Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome to our CSS training session. In this video, we will enhance the look and feel of the colors website a lot. We will learn how to use different colors in the first place, which everyone finds easy. Color names. There are around 147 built-in color names such as red, blue, green, tomato, etc. You can just use the name directly. Now I will show you an example. I will copy the example from here and paste it here in my code editor. And I will copy it from here and paste it inside my CSS. Now see the color I used here. I choose tomato and it's coming here. Now let me show you another color. I can also do it like this. I take the color name here, for example purple. Now this color will change to purple. So in this way we can use color names in CSS. Now let's talk about hexadecimal values. A hexadecimal value is always a code of 6 characters which includes number and letters. It defines how much red, green and blue to use. Here's an example. I will copy it and paste it here. You can see it here. The hexadecimal value code for the tomato color is now in place. If you want, I can change something inside it. For example, I can change it to CCCCCC. See, the color has become a little lighter, like a gray color. If I change it to D, you will see it becomes even lighter. Now, if I use a completely different code like BDCSEF, it will turn black. So in this way, we can use hexadecimal values. Now, let's look at RGB and RGBA means red, green and blue, and you can use numbers from 0 to 255. RGB has an extra value at that define transparency or opacity. I will code it here. I will copy and paste it here. Now you can see the code. RGB is used here to set the background color. The red value is 255 and green value is 99 and the blue value is 71. So this is the tomato color in RGBA. And the next RGBA 255, 99 and 0.5 opacity. If I change the opacity to 0.7, the color will become a darker. If I change something inside this and its color is yellow. Now you see HSL and HSLA. H defined hue which represent the color itself. S stand for saturation and L stand for lightness. HSLA also include transparency. Just like we saw with RGBA, HSL also follows the same concept. This is the foundation of it. There are some changes where we define percentage etc. For example, in HSL 900% saturation and 58% lightness. 9 is the hue value which defines its color. The 100% is the saturation and 58% is the lightness. In HSLA, you are also saying a value like 0.5 for transparency. Similar to how it works in RGBA, if you set the alpha to 0.4, it will become a little lighter, and if you change it to 0.8, you will notice it becomes a little darker. This is how it works. Now let's quickly cover the properties in which you can use color directly. First of all, the color property is used to change the color of the text. After that, the background property is used to change the background of an element. Finally, the border color property is used to set the border color. You can set any border color you want. Now let's see how I have pasted the code here. The button will have a green border. The border of the button is green. And the border being used here is purple because of the code. From here, we will remove one value and keep it as normal. Then we will take a p tag and paste it in place of the main button. We will also remove the button and add a 2 pixel purple border for the p tag. The main color of the text is set to yellow, so the text will appear yellow. Now let us adjust the border size a little bit. I will set it to 5 pixel. As I told you, to set the background, use the background color property. I will set its color to red. Now you can see the div with a purple border and a red background. This is how you can set the background and color and border color properties in CSS. Let's talk about the box shadow and text shadow property. These properties are used to add shadows to text and elements. Simply copy the code and paste it here. You will see the following code: text shadow 2 pixel, 2 pixel, 4 pixel red. This will add a red shadow to the text. You can see the red colored shadow behind the text. Now let's look at the box shadow property. The box shadow property adds a shadow to the box element itself, not just the text. Similarly, you can use text shadow to add shadows to the text inside the box. We can use the text shadow property inside the box shadow property as well. Copy the code and paste it here. You will now see that there is a shadow both inside the box and on the text itself. Now let's take a look at the two types of gradients, linear and radial. A linear gradient smoothly transitions from one color to another. Let's see this through an example. Simply copy the code from here and paste into your code editor. Background image linear gradient to bottom red and yellow. This will create gradient where yellow is at the bottom and red is the top. Now I will increase the height of the element a little to make it look better. I am setting the height to 300 pixels. You can see that gradient start with red at the top and transition to yellow. As you move down, this creates a smooth gradient effect with different shades. Next, let's look at the radial gradient, which create a circular pattern. For example, simply copy this code and paste it here. Background image radial gradient red and yellow. This creates a circular gradient where the color starts as red in the center and transition to yellow on the sides. This is how we use the radial gradients. Now we come to opacity, which is used to make an element transparent, just like we saw with the colors. We change the opacity just like we change the color. Here we can also change the opacity directly. For example, in the code below, pa- paste it here, background color pink opacity 0.5. Now if you go to the code and change the opacity to 0.9, you will see that it becomes darker. But if you change the opacity to 0.2, you will see how light it becomes. When the background is pink and the opacity is set to 0.2, the background becomes much lighter, but the content inside the div is unaffected. Only the background is affected by the opacity, making it look better while the content remains fully visible. This works better with RGBA and HSLA, just like we saw earlier. Now let's look at the some special keywords in CSS. The first one is the inherit keyword. What does the inherit keyword do? If in the main style I am using a color and in a div inside it, the color is inherited from the parent element. The child element will inherit the color for its parent. So it will take the parent's color as its own. Let's look at the second special keyword transparent. This keyword is used to make an element's background color is transparent. Next, let's talk about the current color keyword. What does it to do? The current colored keyword refers to the color of the element's color property. For example, if you have a parent div with a dark red color and we want to apply the same color to the border of the child div, we can use the current color keyword. First, let's copy the inherited example into the main code and paste it into the core editor. Now as you can see, the parent div has a dark red color, and when the child div inherits that color, it takes the same color as the parent. For example, if you have a parent div with a dark red color and we want to apply the same color to the border of the child div, we can use the current color keyword. Here's an example. In the main style, we can add border 2 pixels solid current color, and the border of the child div will take the same color as the color property of the parent div. If an element inherits from a parent but there is no parent to inherit from, the style won't be inherited. In this case, we can use the current color keyword to manually apply the color from the element. To demonstrate this, I will copy the transparent example and paste into the code editor. When you set the background color to transparent, the element will appear transparent, but its content will remain visible. For example, in the main style, set background color transparent, and you will see that the background becomes transparent. When you use the transparent keyword, it essentially makes the background color of the element fully transparent. The background color will be transparent, but the content like text or images will remain visible. In CSS, we commonly use color values in RGB, HSL, and hexa formats. These values can be written such as hexa and RGB and HSL format. Commonly used colors include white, red, black, and many others. The RGB, HSL, and hexa values for these colors are also provided. This is the basic of CSS colors, which can make your website visually appealing. If you want to know more, feel free to ask in the comments. Keep smiling and happy coding. Thank you.